Hi there, I'm nicodehaan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
To recover our natural health, regain our rights and freedoms, and I'm Ellen DeHaan.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in Durango, Colorado. Let me see. Weather report here. Yeah, 51 degrees. Amazing.
Yeah.
And this morning it was like 30.
Yeah, it's supposed to cool off really fast over the weekend and maybe even get some snow.
Yeah. So it's pretty nice for sure. We've been enjoying it here a lot, but please subscribe to our channels. Here. Yeah, hit the follow button, hit the like button, help our channel grow. We post on Facebook and LinkedIn also for your convenience. And if you hit the link below the show notes, you can get products from Other Earth Labs. These are products we use to supplement our diet. And we look at mainstream news stories about anti-aging, natural health, history, climate, as well as our freedom, and we do our own analysis. All the topics for today's show are in the show notes listed below in the description. If you have any questions or comments, use the link below the show notes or get me at nicodehaan@me.com. Scroller right there. And or you can make a comment on YouTube or Odysee, where we put those things in. So
we had quite a week.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I wanted to mention here is we had a great view of the Northern Lights. There's a picture right there.
Northern Lights in southwest Colorado.
There's another one there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. So that's going on. Probably going on again tonight too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, except for the part where the only reason we see them is because the Earth's magnetic field is so messed up.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So we had an event at the dojo. Just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, well, there was a big promotion event. You had your third and fourth black belts that you were able to bestow on worthwhile students.
I got some pictures here too.
Yeah, and we had 3 blue belts that got promoted.
Yeah, so we had a lot of people in the dojo. Scroll down and get a picture here. This is a picture of
the one with the truck in front has got everybody in it. Okay.
Pictures.
Keep going. Keep going. Well, that's a good one.
This is where I'm getting a promotion.
Well, now that's bury the lead. Yeah, we're talking about 4th degree black belts.
Yeah, this is Buju, Professor Buju from Buju from the Ghost Squad, Colorado Springs.
Castle Rock.
Castle Rock. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he promoted me to my 4th degree as
4th stripe. Yes, there's a picture of you there.
Yeah, I think there's one.
That's the one that shows everything. Yeah, that's on. That's a good one.
And that's
there you go.
Myself. Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of
Professor
really cool.
Michelle Porfirio Pereira.
Yeah. No.
He's the 6th degree black belt.
Yeah.
And
so that was cool.
It was amazing. And when there were like over 50 people there, and it was just extremely, and the blue belts were completely surprised.
Yeah.
That was really fun. Yeah. In fact, we had to sneak it in because we didn't want to tell them they were going to get their blue belts.
And they've been injured for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, so they've been out. So we said, oh, make sure when you come to the program that you wear your gis because we're going to take pictures. Yeah. And that was true. But they didn't know it was because they were going to get their blue belts.
Yeah, well, they've been working hard for a little over a year.
Yeah.
They really deserve it. And then Eric also,
who's
been training for many, many years, but he's just been
finding his way back
because he's been inconsistent for a long time. But he's a great kid. So that was really cool. So today topic, we're talking about ketosis and what the mainstream is saying and what we've experienced and what a lot of the evolutionary scientists have said for a long time is ketosis, I guess I should explain it.
What's ketosis?
Well, ketosis is the form of energy that we use if we are eating a lot of fat.
Well, it's,
And
it
fat is
enables us.
turned into ketones in the liver.
And the ketones
And the ketones
are a
is what
source of
supplies.
energy.
Yeah, and from an evolutionary point of view, I always say that if you go into the forest here in Colorado
Mhm.
and find something to eat, you're probably going to find an animal. You're not going to find a lot of grains.
No,
No
no
fields
grains.
of rice here out here or wheat.
Right.
And you're not going to be finding a lot of vegetables. You're going to be finding some fruits
In season.
in season, and that's about it. And those,
Oh, you find some berries in
yeah.
season.
And you don't find a lot of what we call starvation foods, which are the grains and the modern vegetables,
Rice, the
and,
potatoes.
and potatoes and
Mhm.
starches out in the wild. You'll find some, but most of the time, these are things that you will eat if you can't find the animals.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is this: there are two ways that the body creates energy. One from burning fat, and one from burning sugar
or glucose.
Well,
yeah, which your
sugar,
body turns into.
basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and there's a lot of controversy of this. So we've been on
Well,
a
there's
keto.
controversy in the mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. In the scientific
In the-
mainstream,
in
what the
the,
doctors will tell you most of
what
the time.
they've been told and what
Yeah, so we have a few articles here that are mainstream articles, and we'll go in there and tell you where we disagree with them. So the first one is ketosis and the definitions, the benefits, downsides, and more.
And it's from a company called privacyhealthcare.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, just to repeat, ketosis is an elevation of ketone levels in the body. Ketone production is increased in several situations, including when you follow a low carb diet.
Yeah, normally your body refers to prefers to use blood sugar called glucose for energy, sugar. However, during ketosis, your body gets more of its energy from ketones, which is produced from fat.
Yeah, so this article that we're sharing with you right now claims to explain everything you need to know about ketosis, its purported benefits, downsides, and risk.
Yeah, so ketosis is a metabolic state in which your blood has a high concentration of ketones, namely beta
hydroxybutyrate.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Just move your lips, honey.
It occurs when your body starts using fat as its main fuel source due to limited access to glucose or blood sugar, typically caused by starvation, fasting, or following a very low carb diet.
I like the way they lump in starvation and fasting with a low carb diet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many cells in the body prefer using glucose for fuel.
Yeah, see, this is where we really disagree with this.
Right. When your body doesn't have enough glucose to power the cells, levels of the hormone insulin decrease, causing fatty acids to be released from body fat stores in large amounts. Now, what they don't say is that if you don't eat glucose, your body makes it. It's something that your body makes for the organs that need it.
Yeah, in fact, your body can make glucose out of protein, in other words.
Right.
Yeah. So we know that the brain is fueled by glucose as well as the ketones. And the glucose it needs, it can easily get from the protein and really sometimes from fat also. So
yeah. So I mean, they leave out kind of an important thing, but that's all right. Okay. So they did find some things that that were actually go down a little further to the. There we go. Epilepsy. Okay.
Yeah, and this is where I first heard about ketosis.
Yeah. Okay. So they're saying that ketosis, being in ketosis, it has been used to treat childhood epilepsy.
Yeah, in the early 1920s, the ketogenic diet was introduced as a treatment for epilepsy in those who didn't respond to drug treatments.
Now it's interesting because they said it's not that the ketogenic diet was discovered in 1920. Is that the application of the ketogenic diet to epilepsy was implemented in the early 1920s.
Yeah, and when you come to think of it, really, it was the 1920s or around that time that Kellogg's cornflakes was introduced. And in many of these starvation types foods, which are the grains and rice and things like that, were introduced to our population. It's important, I think, to note that some populations have been using things like white rice for a long time, not the brown rice. And the reason they use white rice is because it did less harm, because the brown rice, which is really white rice that is scraped down and
brown rice has the
anti-nutrients
on the coating on the outside,
right?
And the white rice is the one that you remove that coating.
Yeah, and then of course the Chinese and the Japanese and those Asian cultures developed a more starchy form as time went on,
sticky rice,
so they wouldn't have to clean it as much. Right.
Well, it's basically white rice, and it's much healthier for you than brown rice, even though
it's not going to do as much harm.
In the early 70s, brown rice was all the rage, and it tasted delicious, especially with butter on it, but it turns out that white rice is a little bit better for you. And it says that many studies in both children and adults with epilepsy have found that the ketogenic diet can significantly reduce seizures and sometimes even lead to remission.
Yeah.
And of course, the ketogenic diet has been discovered lately for weight loss, but
so when you're eating a very low carb diet, your body relies on fat derived ketones produced in the liver to fuel itself. Over time, this can lead to a meaningful weight and fat loss. What I normally will say is that it normalizes you.
Yeah, and it takes you to the weight that you would have been
if you didn't eat all this
crap.
Your
perfect weight. Basically your perfect weight for complete metabolic health.
Yeah. So
and the one thing that we definitely discovered as soon as we began eating the low carb diet was that we weren't hungry.
Yeah. What's more, people tend to feel less hungry and more full on a ketogenic diet, which is attributed to ketosis. For this reason, it's generally unnecessary to count calories when following this diet. Yeah, it makes everything pretty much easier, doesn't it?
Well, and not only that, but it's not a diet. It's, people say a diet. I'm on a diet. Well,
diet is what you eat.
It's what you eat. Right.
Exactly.
So, okay. And they say that also researchers found that following a ketogenic diet is an effective strategy for managing blood sugar levels for those who have type 2 diabetes.
Or really anybody.
Or type 1 diabetes, or anybody that needs help just juggling and normalizing their blood sugar.
Well, some of the things that we've experienced on our own is the fact that at one point when we were eating the normal type of diet and eating a little fast food here, and then when we were traveling, we would really get hungry, and especially me. I would get very hungry, where I'd be snapping at you. I'd be getting angry.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah. And that completely went away when we started discovering the low carb diet or ketogenic type diet.
It helps a lot when we're traveling. We're not desperate to get lunch.
Yeah, I mean, we can skip a meal, which we actually have.
We eat breakfast and dinner normally.
Yeah, we don't eat 3 meals a day anymore, and we really don't snack at all.
No.
Once in a while.
No, only if you feel like you didn't get quite enough fat with dinner, well, maybe we'll have some crackers and butter. Something. Yes. Crackers, which are almond flour crackers, not.
Yeah, well, wheat. Really any kind of little starch that doesn't hurt you as long as you're on a ketogenic type of diet.
Right, but that way we don't have to deal with the gluten.
Yeah, so it says here, while on a ketogenic diet, which may provide some benefits, it can also trigger several side effects and is not suitable for everybody.
Well, first of all, any side effect, if you're switching from the standard American diet to the ketogenic diet, the low carb diet, any kind of low carb intake of food, you could have now, and I think you explained it the last episode as well, that we talked about how when your body isn't getting the sugar, it's looking in the muscles and looking in where you've stored energy and fat. Mm-hmm. And it sometimes during that process, things are released for energy, but it's also, there's a little bit of toxicity involved. And
well, yeah, because if you're losing weight, a lot of the toxins are stored in those fat cells.
Right.
So you're not going to be feeling good when those things are released. So
you may not. some people don't have a problem at all.
Yeah, well, it says here that short-term effects include headache, fatigue, constipation, dehydration, and bad breath. I also say that this usually disappears within a few days or weeks of the starting of the diet.
they
And it
keep-
really depends on how deep you've been involved in the standard American diet.
Your own
Some people take a
bodies.
full year.
Yeah.
So that of not feeling good for a full year.
Yeah.
That's
No
not-
wonder people don't stick to it.
Right. And a few people, a few months. I think we probably did
ours
for a
was
couple
pretty-
of weeks.
Yeah, pretty fast.
Yeah.
I don't remember any negative effects. I just remember being so delighted because when I stopped eating the grains, I was I went down 2 belt notches in my waist because and I hadn't realized that I was so swollen from the gluten.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, it's
I
solved
had-
a lot of problems for us all. Acne, things like that disappeared. The hungry aspect of it disappeared.
Mhm.
Had much more energy, sustained. You didn't get those dips in energy.
Yeah, you
where
don't
you're
have that
fatigued.
crash at 3 o'clock. Where you say,
Right,
oh my
which-
God, I got to get something to eat.
Right. Yeah.
Give me some potato chips. Give me-
And of course, we all
Candy.
were when you're fat adapted, you really tap into those fat stores, which are available all over the body.
Mhm.
Fat is stored not only in fat cells, but along the muscles, inside the muscles. If you're eating a piece of meat, about half of that piece of meat, no matter how lean it is 40, 50% fat. Real lean, like a rabbit, might be 20% fat,
Yeah, in
but
fact,
there's still fat there.
yeah, but if you subsist on a diet of rabbits, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, because you're
You
not
won't
getting
get enough
enough
fat.
Yeah, you're not
Mhm.
getting enough energy. So-
Yeah, and then now the article goes on to say sometimes ketogenic diets are low in fiber.
Yeah.
And for that reason, it's a good idea to eat plenty of high fiber, low carb vegetables to maintain good digestive
Yeah, and
health.
there's a lot of controversy about fiber, and I don't think it really needs
Well,
it.
and well, not only that, but there is fiber in meat.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
muscle fiber.
we have not experienced any issues.
Well, if
along
we
those
look at
lines.
indigenous people who live in the Arctic, where it's snow
They never eat
10
vegetables.
months out of the year, and they only have access to any plant food, maybe for 2 months, and they
Or
certainly don't
8
have,
months.
and they certainly don't have enough of that fibrous vegetables to last the whole year. So
Right.
most of the time, they're subsisting on fat and a little bit of protein.
Right.
And if you're looking at what they're hunting, the whales and the blubber with the
Seals.
seals and everything like that, it's very high diet. So probably 20% protein, and the rest of it's all fat. So,
I think it's important to note that there are 2 terms floating around. One is ketosis, which
Mhm.
is the normal part of your metabolism, and it's a state of burning fat, basically, for energy.
Yeah.
And then there's something called ketoacidosis, and ketoacidosis is a situation in which the bloodstream is flooded with extremely high levels of glucose and ketones, makes the blood acidic, which can be life-threatening, and it's mostly you hear about ketoacidosis in association with uncontrolled type 1 diabetes,
Yeah.
or if you missed your insulin shot,
or
or,
severe alcohol use.
yeah, and it can also occur in those with type 2 diabetes because it's certainly very similar in side effects and symptoms.
Yep.
Okay, so
Let's go to the
let's
next article.
go to the article.
This is pro and cons of the ketogenic diet.
Okay.
So, top here, let me go start.
Ketogenic diet has been around since the 1920s. Again, the diet itself as a treatment for epilepsy has
Yep.
been around, but eating a low carb diet has been around for multiple centuries,
Well, not only that, all these
hundreds
indigenous
of
people,
millions of years.
yeah, millions of years,
Yeah,
really.
yeah. Okay, so the low carbohydrate, high fat diet gained a foothold, which when proven to reduce seizures in children with epilepsy. It's the diet is also now touted as a weight loss tool. So some of this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but
Yeah,
Okay.
here's how it works. Extra amounts of carbohydrates are initially stored as glycogen in a cluster of glucose.
when these stores are full, they're converted into fat.
When your glucose levels are low, your body uses fat instead of glucose for energy.
When your body burns fat instead of glucose for energy, it enters a metabolic state called ketosis.
So in this state, your body breaks down fats into molecules called ketones, and ketones serve as an alternate fuel source. And what we're saying is that ketones really serve as the main or primary fuel source. And because we're on a standard American diet, or as we discussed last week, the United Nations now is promoting this type of diet for everybody. So yeah, it would be an alternate fuel source, but it's really the main fuel source.
It's ideal to have it as the main source.
Yeah. So some of the benefits of the keto diet, and we'll just go through this kind of fast.
You can lose weight rapidly. You can eat high-fat foods you may enjoy.
Yeah. Well, this diet allows for a high-fat intake. Experts recommend prioritizing healthy foods like monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats found in olive oil, avocado, and fatty fish to promote heart disease. Of course, that's
heart health.
Heart health. It's been really debunked. A pastured animal that's eating grass has a lot of omega-3s,
right?
And all these great saturated fats that
are good for your heart.
That are good for your heart, and not bad for your heart
and your brain.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and says there, number 3, there is evidence the keto diet can help specific groups of people.
Yeah, like humans.
Like humans, exactly. We're just not even gonna. They're saying they're now not only are they using it for the epilepsy, but they're also looking at whether it helps with progressive neurological disorders like Parkinson's.
Yeah,
which would be wonderful.
Yeah, and
risks. Watch it. It's
difficult to maintain.
No, it isn't.
We've been doing it for a long time.
For at least 15 years.
Yeah.
And it is not difficult to maintain. You go out, if you go out, first of all, if you're eating at home, you regulate what you're eating. And if you go out to lunch or whatever, so you have
to just not eat the mainstream
the
diet,
meat,
right?
And you don't eat the French fries, and you don't eat the vegetables. And, and we go to dinner about once a week, and you order just the ribeye with no sides.
Right.
And it's your choice. You're the one choosing your menu, so it's not difficult to stick to.
No, you just have to just control yourself a little bit. Number 2 says you have a greater risk of nutrient deficiency or calorie depletion. Well, calorie depletion depends on how much you eat, right?
Right, and what you eat.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with, how many calories something has is nothing to do with whether it's healthy. Because
the keto diet is so restrictive, it says here, you're not receiving the nutrients.
Which is all crap.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be blunt, but it's
Fruits,
garbage.
Legumes, vegetables, and whole grains do have some nutrients, but we find, and I have a video at the end here, which we're not going to play, but
you can click on it.
You can click on
watch.
it, and it's Nora Gallus who
got us
that we discovered maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah, very early on in this process.
And she really resonated with us because she talked about this whole process.
And the whole difference between burning the fat and burning the...
Yeah, one of the analogies she always had is if you've got a wood stove at home.
Maintaining a fire.
Yeah, maintaining a fire. If you have a wooden stove at home, eating carbohydrates and stuff like that would be like throwing twigs and straw on the fire.
And paper.
And paper and things like that. And what would happen is that you would have a fire that you'd need to tend and stay in front of.
And keep on feeding every minute. Yeah.
And instead you could do what
that's
she
sugar
does.
Burning. That's what she said. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And then if you put a very large log or some substantial pieces of slow burning hardwood, then you can walk away from the fire. And that's what she analogizes to fat burning.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. So
know.
You have a greater risk of nutrient deficiency and calorie depletions, like I said, and they say it's very restrictive because you're really doing away with legumes, you're doing away with some vegetables and whole grains.
Yeah, no bread, no pizza, no cookies, no cake. This is the stuff that we don't think about so much, but that really is the one feeding the sugar into your body.
Yeah, and on this diet, you can really eat some fruit too. And
Yeah,
what we do is try to eat fruit that's kind of indigenous to this area
and in season.
and in season, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the blueberries from Peru versus the blueberries from California.
Yeah. Or blueberries from here even be better.
Yeah.
So people report feeling foggy, irritable, nauseous, and tired. These symptoms have been dubbed as the keto flu. Constipation is also common on the keto diet because of the lack of fiber.
So we already go ahead.
What we had said previously, these are temporary.
Very short term.
And they really make it make it the
Seem
suggestion
like,
on here. It seems like this is going to be a permanent
oh,
thing.
you're going to have trouble every
exactly.
day. You know. No, it isn't. It just has not been our experience in any way.
Yeah. And they talk about low fiber intake, which gives you inadequate magnesium, vitamin C. But we already know that the magnesium, vitamin C,
and potassium are in meat.
They really are if you have grass-fed meat, not from corn, of course. But,
yeah. Grass-fed, free range, grass-finished.
And just think about it. The cows are converting all this food for us. And we don't have that same process. If we're eating a lot of roughage and things like that, we're going to have problems with our digestive system because our digestive system is not the type like a gorilla or even a monkey that has the big bellies or a cow, which have several stomachs. Ruminants. And the reason they have these big stomachs and the reason the cows have more than one stomach is because they're fermenting this stuff.
They're processing all the food.
Right. And what happens is they're actually not burning sugar. They're actually converting these things to ketones in their stomach by the fermentation process. So just about all animals, I can't think of any that are really running on sugar or glucose. No. They're converting these sugars to ketones.
If you think about it for a minute, the bears, before they go into hibernation, need to put on a lot of fat.
Yeah.
So they will go after the berries and the fruits.
That's a good point.
You know, and the deer is the same thing before they go into rutting season.
Right.
And so they're the ones that come after the raspberries in the front
yard. Yeah. Try to chase those suckers away. Okay, let's go a little more. The keto diet can be tough on your kidneys, of course, if you don't drink anything.
Yeah, you have to drink water or
preferably water.
Yeah, water or electrolyte infused water or whatever, just some that even coffee.
I like this number 5 here. When you track your food, it can lead to a disorder.
Yeah, it can make you bulimic or anorexic.
Yeah, so anytime you're tracking food of any kind, so if you're eating the normal standard diet and you're tracking that, that can lead to it too. It doesn't really make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
I'm sure there's a compulsion in people that can lead to those disorders, but that doesn't mean
there are psychological analyses attached to eating disorders that have nothing to do with what you eat. It's a matter of what your brain tells you to do to prevent your body from maturing or things like that. And there's also people eat for emotional reasons. People eat to hide. I mean, there were so many things going on with the eating disorder that doesn't have anything to do with what you're eating.
Yeah, exactly. Number 6 is this can cause your blood pressure and your sugar to drop. It certainly can drop your sugar. And this is a short-term thing. And it even says in here that keto diet can cause blood pressure to drop in short-term. Those things can happen because your body is trying to figure out what the heck is going on. You're changing everything on me here.
Well, also in this world in which we exist, the stress levels are so high these days, and blood pressure is an issue for people that normally are not even overweight or anything.
Don't listen to the news.
Yeah, don't watch the news.
Other approaches to weight loss, and they give you some other approaches here.
And they talk about intermittent fasting, which we've covered in a number of shows. Yeah. And it helps, and it apparently according to research, it actually contributes to the well-being on being on the keto diet.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got.
Well, this is 14 myths that deserve to be debunked. So I found this interesting because that's exactly what we're talking about. So since being in a metabolic state of natural ketosis is very different
nutritional
ketosis, from the normal state in which you burn carbs for fuels, is necessary to go through a brief transition phase. Talked about that when starting the diet, and some adjustment time can be expected.
And that being said, not every person will experience the same adjustment time or circumstances, especially if they take steps to help make the process easier. And then factors like your gender, age, overall health, and physical activity level all affect what? Oh, your activity level all affect hormonal health, your metabolism, and your ability to adapt to and benefit from ketosis.
So as always, you should consult a
healthcare professional. If you can find one that actually looks at the information.
And I think you can these days.
Yeah, these days it's getting better.
Yeah. So the 14 myths.
Okay. 1.
Keto is a high-fat, high-protein diet. That's not a myth.
Well, it says keto diet is not particularly high in protein.
That's right. It's high fat.
And
so a lot of people think that it's high protein.
So how much protein do you need?
About 20%.
Yeah. So it says a standard recommendation for following the ketogenic diet is to get about 75% of daily calories from sources of fat, such as oils or fattier cuts and meat, 5% with carbohydrates, 20% from protein.
Yep. Pretty much what we do.
Okay. Myth number 2.
Keto is a weight management diet only.
And obviously that's not true.
But for a lot of people, maybe 60-70% of the population now, it's a good idea.
Oh, well, yeah. There is a serious epidemic of obesity.
Yeah.
Okay. The benefits of keto can extend far beyond weight benefits. For example, by generally supporting metabolic health, healthy body composition, and healthy cognitive function, it helps your brain. And that's, my goodness.
Probably won't get a cold every season. You might not get the flu. It solves a lot of problems. Your arthritis, dementia, so many.
Yeah, dementia may not be in your future. You know?
Oh, no. Can't make any money there.
Yeah, right.
Number 3, health benefit claims are only claims. There's no science. Well, that's been debunked a long time ago.
There's nothing could be further from the truth. The ketogenic diet was originally developed at the foundation for it as an actual eating regime was developed in the 1920s by researchers at Johns Hopkins Medical Center. And since this time, dozens of studies have investigated the diet's effect.
Yeah. Number 4.
Myth number 4.
You can't exercise on keto, of course. I exercise, and I actually ran a marathon on a keto diet. So that's a bunch of nonsense. Number 5, you will lose muscle mass on a keto and a lifestyle, and that's not true.
Well, if you sit in front of the TV all day long every day, yeah, you'll lose muscle mass. It has nothing to do with what you're eating. Okay, myth number 6.
Ketosis and ketoacidosis are the same thing, and we've discussed the acidosis thing because of the seizures and things like that.
Diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly diabetes is if people don't stick to the insulin regimen, they end up in ketoacidosis.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of experimental things going on with diabetes and the ketogenic diet.
Yeah, changing
those things.
Mm-hmm. And it because it reduces blood sugar and so on.
Yeah, everyone experiences certain things during their adjustment time. Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, that's not true. Well, no, not everybody doing the same thing. I mean, people have different reactions.
Yeah. There's going to be an adjustment period, and you just have to figure out how to get around that and how to adjust yourself. And we've discussed that before. So number 8, you will always have low energy. That's
that is the absolute opposite has been our experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Very high energy, very feeling wonderful.
Yeah.
Just clear, no brain fog. Yeah. You know,
you should only stay on keto for short periods of time. Like a lifetime.
Yeah,
that's short enough for me. And you can occasionally cheat. Well, yeah, of course you can. You can cheat on anything.
You can eat whatever you want, but you know.
And the thing is, it doesn't really knock you out of ketosis if you have some fruit, or even if you have some cake, or if you eat a pizza.
Right.
And once you're adapted for, I would
Fat
say,
burning.
6 months to a year, you're going to be able to do these things once in a while because it's fun.
Oh, maybe you went to a party or something, or
and
you're
there's
getting
things
together
there.
with friends.
Yeah. And usually, the way I construct my activities like that, the fun things, where I'm indulging in something, maybe I'm having, instead of just having a beer, I might have 3 beers, or I'm eating a piece of cake or something like that.
Stripe.
One for each stripe. That was 4 beers. Yes.
4 beers.
But what I do is I make sure I have a healthy meal of a little bit of protein, a lot of fat beforehand. And then when you eat those things, there's really no impact.
It doesn't kick you out of ketosis.
It doesn't do anything like that.
Right. And it says you could eat any kind of, myth number 11 was you can eat any kind of fat and it's, again, at least it says here, and we know for a fact that you don't want to eat trans fats, you don't want to eat highly processed foods, and you don't want to eat
some of the processed foods like the
oils.
old Italian sausages and sausages that have been made really well. People have been eating those for hundreds of thousands of years. This is the way we cured food. We dried food. So we eat a lot of bacon. Bacon is really
but we
good
get
food.
the uncured bacon that doesn't have
And we
additional hormones or antibiotics.
Yeah, and we make sure that it's grass-fed. Yeah,
exactly.
That type of thing.
Exactly.
Number 12 is keto is the same for men and women. I don't think it's the same for anybody.
Right, I agree, it does say, this article says that women, overall women seem to be more sensitive to dietary changes in weight compared to men. Yeah, there's plenty of women in this world that are looking at their husbands or their, male friends and saying, what the heck? He goes on a diet for a week and he drops 15 pounds. What is that? And it's just a different metabolism, different chemistry.
Intermittent fasts must occur while you're on a ketogenic diet. Of course,
nothing must occur.
Right. You can't drink any alcohol. Yeah, well, I mean, on any diet, you can drink alcohol. It's just, are you going to be stupid and drink a lot of alcohol?
Right.
Or just have a little fun and have a drink? No big deal. And there's some final thoughts on here.
The ketogenic diet is a very high fat, very low carb diet that alters the source of energy your body uses to function, from burning carbs and sugar to burning fat.
Simple as that. Some common keto myths are that the keto diet is only beneficial for healthy weight management. It also, it always causes low energy and other symptoms. It's unsafe for women, or it's hard to follow long term, and it leads to muscle loss.
So those are all the myths. They're not true.
Yeah. And the last thing is,
despite what you may have heard about the ketogenic diet, it's safe for most people to stick with long term. And it can be used to build muscles and gain energy, coupled with exercise. And it has many benefits beyond burning fat as fuel, such as supporting cognitive and metabolic health.
All kinds of health, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's
keto suppression and aging. This is an extremely an extremely technical paper that was published. If you're interested, it's here for you to read the whole thing if you're interested. But we did highlight just a few things. We're not going to go through the whole thing because it's very technical.
Yep.
But it is the paper. It's about it. What is it? Ketosis suppression and aging.
Scientific study.
It's a scientific study.
And the introduction starts with the 21st century bears the hallmark of an aging global population in an estimated 8 billion people by 2023. Of course, we're in 2024, 25 already.
Almost 26.
Yeah, by 2030, 1 in every 6 Europeans are expected to be aged over 60. Yeah, people are living a lot longer.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
And by 2040, a quarter of older adults will surpass 85 years of age.
Yeah, so they're talking about in 2019 and 2022, the leading cause of death for females in England and Wales was Alzheimer's and other dementias, followed by cardiovascular disease, cancers, and they list a whole bunch of stuff.
A whole bunch of things. I mean, multiple myeloma. Whoever heard of multiple myeloma?
And when my sister got it, that's when I heard about it.
That's when you heard about it. And that was what, about 14 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. So they list a lot of things here, and most of this is really caused by the lifestyle that we've adapted in modern times, right?
And it says lifestyle, health span, and cellular health are greatly influenced by nutrient availability.
Yeah, when the availability of nutrients is low, cells prioritize essential functions over cell division, which slows the progression through the
Reproductive cycles.
yeah, preserving their
limits.
Yeah.
And it says carbohydrate restriction and fasting have been shown to extend lifespan.
Yeah, cells are capable of sensing energy availability and nutrient types, activating intercellular signaling pathways to stimulate anabolic or catabolic processes which affect cellular health and longevity. So in other words, what they're saying is that a low-carb diet is going to give you much more health and longevity because this is the way, evolutionary way that we've adapted to be healthy. We're not really adapted to be sick.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
only sick
That's true.
by our diet,
That's
not
true.
because germs are floating around.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a situation here in Durango where a lot of my students and stuff are out for a week
At the
dojo, and they're subjected to exactly the same stuff I am, except for the food. And I'm there all the time. I don't get sick.
Right.
Very, very seldom. In the last 5 years, I may have
We had a couple sometimes when you move to a new area and you're exposed to a different set of
different stresses too, and moving and everything. So a lot of this stuff has to do with how we set up ourselves with the stress. The less stress we have, the less susceptible we are to anything, affecting us. So I think that's most of it. It talks about insulin secretion.
I thought this was interesting. It says chronic insulin secretion and signaling driven by dietary sources of glucose leads to insulin resistance, and that's diabetes, of course, and consequently chronic diseases, which decrease health span by accelerating cellular growth and division while impeding apoptosis and promoting production of inflammatory cytokines.
Yeah, reducing insulin and blah, blah, blah. So it says really ketones have been shown to increase health span and lifespan through mechanisms such as promoting the transcript of longevity-related genes, including autophagy, which is getting rid of junk in your body.
Cleansing.
Cleansing, So all these processes, biogenesis and things like that, these are things that your body does to get rid of toxins. So it's an anti-toxin pathway regime. So fasting mimics this, including the ketogenic diets. So, this is what they're talking about.
Historical and emerging research demonstrates the positive impact of ketogenic metabolic therapy in treating and preventing neurological diseases, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, chronic inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. So let's keep going here. There's quite a lot of charts and there's a lot of information here, but if you go down the article toward the end there, I highlighted the conclusions. I mean, it talks in detail about every kind of impact, strengths and limits. Now, an interesting part about it was this particular group of researchers is not supported by any kind of pharmaceutical companies, food companies, or any other outside industries.
Right.
And nobody on the panel was connected to any particular regime, so they weren't biased. And they also they weren't being supported individually by it.
I think it's important. One of the things I think that we should have in government, the first thing is a representative or a senator. When they're talking, they should automatically at the beginning say, okay, this is who's paying me.
Yeah, who's contributing to my campaign?
Yeah, and then we can make sense of what
that should be published with every general information on every elected official and any decision maker.
Yeah, and
You should be able to Google.
That's right. And this is what's hidden, right? Most of the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So we were listening to Nina, forget her last name. She's one of the low carb people that we've been listening to for years. And the first thing she said in a speech, I forget exactly where it was, but it's on the net.
Oh, she said she was an independent journalist.
She wasn't being paid by anybody to come here and speak. And that's what we want from our politicians. I want to know who's paying you. So when you're talking, I can discern if Kellogg's Cornflakes is giving you a lot of campaign contributions.
Or $1 million in research grants. Or,
and if you're going to be speaking against them, they're going to be pulling that funding. It just makes sense. So when people like RFK Jr. and the people that surrounding him trying to change some of these things, the thinking of the American public about what they should be eating, we know that RFK is not being bought out by these pharmaceutical companies or the grain companies.
Not supported by any of those people.
By anybody at all.
And the whole, all right, so let's look at the conclusion.
Yes. So the conclusion.
Evolutionary evidence suggests that ancestral populations were predominantly adapted to patterns of intermittent and time-restricted feeding as opposed to continuous nutritional intake. So, as in other words, we're not grazing in the field.
Like the animals.
Maintaining.
We let the animals do that. Let the animals do the grazing, and we'll eat the animals.
And let the animals process the food in a kind of like a prebiotic way.
Yeah.
And then when we eat the meat, we've got the benefit of the nutrition that they got from their diets, and it's already, because the biggest problem we have with the plant diet is that our bodies are not adapted to digest that directly, no matter. So
there's no doubt about it.
But the animals are, and so that works out for us. Maintaining low insulin requirement and IGF-1 levels through endogenous whatever. And
I do believe in relying on ketosis fatty acids as a primary source.
So I just put up here this.
So the last thing we have here is ancestral nutrition expert. You've been sold a lie about healthy food.
Yeah, Norga got us. So it's an hour and a half, but
it's
even
really interesting.
Just even 15 minutes of this will give you an idea of what she's talking about and what we're primarily built to eat and what you shouldn't be eating. And this is really what we've been talking about. This is what Ellen and I have been following for about 15 years, maybe even a little bit more, because I really started doing this when I started jiu-jitsu, and that's almost 20 years. So it was
a couple of years before your sister passed away.
Yeah, that's right.
And what year did she pass away? Was it 2013? I think it was 2013.
2013. Yeah.
So it's been.
I got my black belt in 2012. So it's been that long because.
And then it was before. It was a couple of years before she passed away that we started doing this.
Yeah.
So let's say it's, even if you say 2010, that's 15 years.
Yeah, it's probably more than that, because when I started the podcast, which was in 2007, I think, or 8, that's when I really started doing a lot of research on it.
Right.
We were already on the low-fat diet at that time.
Primal, the Primal diet.
Yeah, we were on the Primal diet. So it's been many, many years. And so when anybody tells you that this is not sustainable, well, we've been doing
Here we
good.
are. Getting to our, you're 81, and I'll be 80 in next June.
Yeah.
So.
And it's life is pretty good, and I think both of us feel probably better than we have in the last 2 or 3 decades.
Oh yeah.
And we're feeling better and better as we go along.
Well, it helped that I retired. That stress in my life is gone.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, it was good stress, but it was definitely responsibility and challenge.
Yes.
So
well, the point we're trying to get across from this whole thing is that you need to find out yourself. You need to convince yourself, and all we're trying to do is provide you with some ammunition. If you listen to Nora on this Jesse Chappis podcast about ancestral nutrition, I think you get an idea, and then if you want to try it, ease into it if you want to, or if you're like me, I don't ease into anything. I'll go full. I go
I
full
can
bore.
attest to that.
Yeah, and that has been the story of my life, whether it was bad or good.
Right.
I always
Jump right
I
in with it.
always jump right into it. So
Well, when you started jujitsu, you went to the dojo. You bought a gi.
I bought a gi and said, "I'll see you Monday," and I never stopped, and I was always
Well,
at least 3 days a week.
The
I was there.
professor said, "Well, you can borrow a gi to see if you like it." And you said, "Nope, I'm buying a gi. I'm gonna do this."
I've always been like that. Yeah. So, for better or for worse. And the last 20 years, it's well, since I've met you, it's been the best. So you've helped me a lot, baby.
and likewise.
Yeah. So, well, thanks a lot for sticking around. I hope you got something out of this, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Be well, be safe.
Bye bye now.